Hi guys, it's Deb here with Creative Life and J&S Hobbies and Crafts. And so today we are going to begin the first part of our baby mini album, or our baby album, using that Ninna Nanna paper collection by Ciao Bella, and it is Lullaby. So I actually looked this up, and this Ninna Nanna is a lullaby song in Italian. So I was curious, and I was like, what does that mean? You know, why, you know, what does that, you know, what does that mean? So anyway, so if you get a chance, you can look it up on YouTube, and there is a Ninna Nanna lullaby song in Italian, and it's pretty cute. So it's a really sweet song. So anyway, that, I think that's why that's why they called it this, and it means lullaby. So so anyway, we're going to be go ahead and start our book today. And so for this, what you're going to need is you're going to need your white cardstock, okay? And again, this is the 10-pack white cardstock that you can find in the shop. It's the 12 by 12 by Heartfelt Creations, and it is really a good buy, you guys. I love this cardstock, okay? And they also have it in craft, and I believe they have it in black too. So you are also going to need your score tape. So I have a few score tapes here that I need to finish off, and then you're going to need your art glitter glue. You're going to need a ruler, okay? So you'll need your ruler, your chipboard, and I've already cut down my chipboard, and let's see, what else are we going to need? I think that's about it. Oh, and your Tyvek. Okay, I have a small piece of Tyvek left. So you'll be needing a small piece of that, okay? So, and I'm hoping that I have enough to go through this. So, anywho, okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So one thing you're going to need is when you cut down your chipboard, you're going to need one piece that is 2.5 by 8. Okay, so you need one of those. You are going to need two pieces that are 3 3/4 by 8. So you're going to need two of those. Two pieces of chipboard that are cut down to 10.5 by 8, okay, because our book is going to go this way, okay? So you'll need two of those. Your paper, okay, when you cut your 12 by 12 paper down, this is what I want you to do, okay? And this is what I do. I don't know. I mean, you can do it this way, or if you have your own way, you can definitely do it however you want to do. I usually take my ruler. I go in from the edge about 1 inch, okay, and I usually draw a line, okay. That is going to give us room, so when we cover our chipboard, we have 1 inch to fold over our chipboard, okay. So there's 1 inch. Then what I do is I go ahead and take my ruler, and I go on the bottom, and I go up 1 inch. Okay, and I mark it, okay? So I know I don't need to cut this part off, okay? This is where you're going to fold, again, that over the bottom part of our chipboard, okay? So you haven't cut your 12 by 12 yet, okay? So when you cut when you have this chipboard here, or you go up 1 inch, okay, from here to here, you're going to go ahead and put your chipboard on in between these two, this little corner right here where you've already traced, and this should then go ahead and go up about another inch. So here you're going to go ahead and take your ruler, and you're going to mark about 1 inch, okay? And then, so you know you need to leave 1 inch between this spot and then up here where you haven't cut out yet. Okay, and I go ahead and I mark right here on that paper, and I go ahead and know that that's where I need to cut the rest of that off. So let me grab a 12 by 12. So here's your 12 by 12. Okay, you haven't cut this piece off yet. Okay, so you're going to mark it right there, and that's where you know you need to cut this part off to get your correct measurement for your mini album. Okay, now if you're doing an elongated album like I'm doing, okay, then you're not going to have to cut out anything here, and actually we're going to end up taping the pieces together. Okay, so now your paper should be 11, or it should be about 10, I'm sorry, 10, because you have an inch here and here, so you need to account for that, and our book is 8 inches, right, this way. So we have an inch here and here, so that's 10 inches, and then here it should be about 12 inches long. Okay, so is that right? Yeah. Okay, so all right, so you have a 12-inch span here. Okay, so your paper should be 12 by 10. Okay, 12 by 10. That should be your paper, and you're going to need 3 of those. Okay, and I know I could have just wrote that down and showed you guys what you needed, but I really feel that sometimes, you know, when making scrapbooks, you need to, you know, you want to learn how to do it on your own too. So if you want to do a mini album that is, you know, 5 by 7 or whatever, then you know that you need to leave an inch around your paper, and that's a good way to do it, is to just take your ruler and measure in an inch on every side. Okay, so so now we have our 3 pieces. We're going to go ahead and attach them, and you're just going to go ahead and take your tape, and you're just going to go ahead and put that all the way down. Okay, now when using score tape, you do not want to stretch it. Okay, you don't want to pull it, because then that kind of leaves it binds it like the paper ends up kind of like getting too tight around that tape. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and do that on you're going to attach all of these together just like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take this off, and I'm going to show you real quick how to do it. So if you're new and you haven't done a mini album before, you know how to do this. So we're just going to go ahead and wiggle that down just like that. Okay, so just like that, and you're just going to go ahead and lay that one on top of the other. Okay, and so I will be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. So I went ahead and put our paper together, and I'm gonna zoom out for a bit. Oops, that's zooming down. Zoom out here. There we go. It's a little bit better. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, so I stuck all my papers together. Okay, so you should have this one big, huge, long piece. Okay, and we may need to cut this down, but right now we're going to go ahead and stick our chipboards down on it. Okay, and I'm going to move my little desk thing back just a bit more. Okay, now for your 2.5 by 8 piece, okay, this is going to be right here on the edge. Okay, so right here, about an inch in from the edge of your paper. Okay, so if you marked yours like mine, that's where you're going to have that. All right, you want to make sure that when you do put your score tape on the back of your chipboard, you want to make sure that it's burnished in really, really good. Okay, and then this is going to go in about 3/8 inch from the edge of this chipboard here. Okay, this one. So you're going to have a 3/8 inch gap between all of your chipboard pieces, okay? And I think that it really makes the book easier to close. Okay, I'm going to bring out my sample. Okay, it is not finished. Okay, and this was just my mock. Okay, so, and it's done with some papers that I just had in my stash. But this is what, with the 3/8 inch seam in between your chipboards. Okay, so when you close it, it looks like this. Okay, now let's see here, it doesn't matter which way, but okay. So I like how the edges are really rounded, and even when I'm doing this, the paper does not crack at all. So I think a 3/8 inch is really a nice way to go for this album. Okay, so that's what we're going to do, is we're going to do a 3/8 inch. I just think it's really going to be good for our book. Okay, so just try it out and see, you know, if you like it. I like it. I really like it. So every time you lay down one of your chipboards, you are going to mark it at 3/8 inch. Okay, so here I have it marked right there that it's 3/8 inch. So that's where that one's going to go. Right, I'm going to slide this down. I'm going to grab my ruler, and I'm going to go ahead and mark another 3/8 inch. Okay. Mark a 3/8 inch here, right there. So I know that's where I need to put that. So my next one is going to be one of the 3 1/4 by 8 inch, or by 8. So that's going to go there, just like that. Okay, just like that. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and scoot on down. And then here you're going to do another 3/8 inch. So I'm marking it again. .3/8 inch right there. This time I'm going to get my 10 by 8 piece, or 10.5 by 8 piece. Okay, and I'm going to put that there. Okay, and then here on the end again, we're going to go ahead and mark it at 3 1/8 inch. Okay, and that's going to go right there, just like that. So really, when you get to the end, you should only have like a little bit of left here. And you don't even, I mean, if you don't want to, you don't have to cut it off. That gives you 2 inches at the end, just about, maybe a little over 2 1/8 inch. So if you wanted to, you could definitely go ahead and mark the inch here. And this is where you would cut, an inch off from the edge here. So you would just cut this inch off right here. So all the way down here, this is where you could cut that off. All right. I went ahead and marked it an inch. Okay. And since our 3/8 inch is marked on our paper, okay, you can go ahead and take these off, move these aside, and cut down your paper. All right, and then we can go ahead and stick on our chipboards. So I will be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and cut off that inch from the end of our paper on the right hand side, and so now I'm going to scoot this back over onto this here. Okay, on this, and we're going to be working from left to right. So from this, my stuff fell over. Okay, hold on one second. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to move that. So you want to grab, I'm going to go ahead and put on the 2 1/8 inch piece right here. Okay, And I want to make sure that all of my little tapes are even with my chipboard on the edges. Okay, you don't want any sticking out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put on this one, and then from there I will put on the rest of mine, and then I will be right back after I put on all of the pieces. Okay, so I'm just going to do this one real quick with you, and then you will be on your way. So and you can finish up the rest. Okay, so right here we have 1 inch from the edge of our paper on the left side, and then we have 1 inch from the top and the bottom, right? So that gives us this little corner, and you're just going to go ahead and set that piece right on top of that little corner edge. Okay, just like that. All right, and then like I said, we measured out our 3/8 inches, so we measured it out, and so there is my 3/8 inch, and I'm going to go ahead and mark it again. So, and there is my phone. So I'm going to go ahead and, sorry about that, I'm going to mark it again. Okay, 3/8 inch right there. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and set down my 10.5 by 8 piece right here. Okay, and then after I do that, then I will go ahead and do the 3¼ inch right here at the 3/8 where we marked it, and then sew on down. Okay, so I will be right back after I get all of my chipboard on our paper. Okay, and then we'll cover it. Okay guys, I'm back. So went ahead and stuck all of my chipboard onto our paper. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and fold our edges in, and to do that, you know, you're just going to grab your bone folder, and you're just going to go along the edge of your chipboard. Okay, just like this. Okay, and you're going to do the same all around your chipboard. All right, just like that. Okay, alrighty. Once you go around your chipboard, okay, and you feel like you've got a nice groove going in there, what I want you to do is just grab the edge of your paper and just kind of like roll it in. Okay, just roll it in a bit, just like this. Okay, just like that. And same thing on the bottom. So you'll just go ahead and just roll it in. Okay, just kind of roll it gently. Okay, just like that. All right, and then you can just kind of get it to fold inward a little bit. Okay, and then same thing on the edge. Okay, just like that. Alrighty. Once you go ahead and roll this in, just try to get it to come inward. Okay. Just kind of press a little bit like that. And you can also use your bone folder and just kind of run it along the edge there. That will help also guide your paper to the edge of your chipboard. Okay. And since we're doing such a long piece here, you'll just go ahead and continue doing that. Just like that. Okay. Like that, all the way down. Okay, you can turn your book around and do the same thing here. Just grab your bone folder and go on the edge there. Okay, All right, and then do the same thing on the edge. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to do the same thing here on this edge. Okay. Now that we have our corners here, okay, and we know that, see this little point right here? This is where we want to cut this off. Okay. I know some people do it differently than I do, and you can, if you're a seasoned crafter and you know how to cut your angles or your edges off the little corners, then go ahead and do so. But for me, how I do mine is I just go ahead and come in a little bit, okay, at an angle, and I just clip to, I get to that little corner piece. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in just a bit so y'all can see how I'm cutting it. Okay, so I grab my little piece right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and angle in and cut to that little, where it's like an X right there. Okay, so again here, I'm going to go ahead and angle it. Cut down, whoops, cut down just like that. Okay, and then it's kind of hard for me to, let me grab this part here, set that there. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and angle here and cut to that little, where they meet in the middle piece. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut that a little bit more right there. There we go. Just like that. Okay, so you'll go ahead and do that all the way around. Again, I just do it at an angle. Turn this around here. Angle here. And then angle here. Okay, and then angle here. Okay, just like that. Alrighty, and so that is how I do mine. So again, if you know how to do yours, then you've already done, you've already know how to do your edges for your album, then you can go ahead and do that however you'd like. So okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put tape around the edge of your chipboard. Okay, so I know some people put tape up here on their paper and then down here on their chipboard. What I do is I put the tape on my chipboard, and then I'll use my art glitter glue for the paper part. Okay, and I've had good luck. I've not had any problems with anything coming apart or anything. So that is what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my tape here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and, I don't know. Okay, and so I'm just going to put my tape here, just like this. And I'm just guiding it along my my chipboard. Okay, I'm not pulling at it or anything. I'm just guiding it along the chipboard so it lays down. Okay, just like that. And then same thing up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay that down. And again, I'm just guiding it along. I'm not pulling it or anything like that. And then the same thing with the edges here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that right there. Okay, So there we go. So there is our tape. And let's see, I have a little piece right there. So once you get your tape on, you want to make sure it's burnished in really good. So just take your bone folder or your little spatula, whatever you use, okay? And I use a little scraper. It's actually a Pampered Chef scraper, okay? But you can use your bone folder, and you just want to go ahead and put those in, just like that. Just make sure that everything is burnished down really, really nice, okay? Alrighty, just like that. So, so then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and put glue around here, okay? And then we're going to fold everything over. So because it's a long piece, we're going to go ahead and start up here, okay? And, you know, it's up to you however you want to do it. And I'm laying this back down because some people do it in sections. So it's totally however you prefer to do it. And I'm going to go ahead and stand up for this part. Okay. So I'm just going to grab my glue here. And this is the art glitter glue I use to put together my albums. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure my glue is ready to go. Okay, and what I do is I put glue here. Okay, I put, oops, not that much glue, but alrighty. So you want to just put glue here along this area, okay? And I just kind of go halfway, okay, a little bit. You don't want to put too much glue on there, but just enough. Okay, and then you want to go ahead and just fold this down. Oops, and I've got glue on my fingers, so it's now on the paper. Okay, and I'm just going to take the rest of that off, and then I'm going to stick some more glue on here, and you can go all the way down if you want to, and I do stick it like on the edging of the paper there, okay? Along, you want to run it along the seam, okay? Right along the seam. Okay, so, and you can definitely get your bone folder to help you put this on, okay? Now, if you get some little cracks, okay, because we did put our papers together, I will show you how to make those not seen. Okay, and really they kind of just, they don't really show. So just, whoops, I'm grabbing my bone folder, and there we go. Okay, and I got a little bit of a, I don't know what's going on here. That is okay, because that won't show. Okay, this little piece right here, I don't know. So see how my paper cracked right there? You can definitely just grab your glue and fold it back over. Okay, and it will not show. Okay, I promise you, it will be okay. All right. I know I've had that happen a few times when I've put some books together, but it all works out really well. And I'm going to grab my eraser and erase that glue right there. And this is just a glue eraser. You can grab these over at Michael's or Joann's. It just helps clean up paper or whatever, you know, when you get glue on it. so it just comes right off. So they're really nice to have. I like mine. I use mine a lot. I use mine quite a bit. And I've had it for years, you guys. I've had it for years. So it doesn't, like, you know, you don't need to replace it a lot. So, okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do the bottom. Again, you're going to go ahead and grab your glue, go along the seam, okay, and then bring your glue up. And I just kind of do a squiggly line, okay, and then go across the top. Okay, just like that. Alrighty, and then I'm going to go ahead and remove this tape here. Alrighty, and then I'm going to actually go ahead and remove part of this down here, because that will lay on that, and down here as well. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking this bottom piece of this tape here, and I'm kind of pulling it up, as this will lay down on top of that. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my bone folder. I'm going to go ahead and crease this up again. Okay, all right, and then I'm going to start folding it over. Just like that. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and use my bone folder to crease it in. Okay, just like that. Alrighty, and so you want to do that all the way around your book. Okay, so just gonna go ahead and bring up all of your areas here, all of your little flaps, and attach them to your book. Okay, so I'm going to do the ends and everything, and then I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. So after you get all of your album covered, we're going to go ahead and add some Tyvek, okay? And you are going to need 2 pieces of Tyvek that are 1 3/4. And I'm going to go ahead and make this a little darker so you guys can see the measurements. 1 3/4 by 7 1/4. Okay, so you're going to need 2 of those. Okay, so 1 3/4 by 7 1/4. Now, if you don't use Tyvek, that's fine. You don't have to, but you still want to cover your little seams right here. Okay, so we're going to place those there on each end. Okay, alrighty, just like that. And then you're going to need 1 piece that is 5 by 7 1/4. Okay, and that's going to go in your middle part right here. All right. Then you're going to cut out 2 pieces that are 2 7 3/4. Okay, so 2 pieces at 2 inches and by 7 3/4. That is going to go over the Tyvek. Okay. And then you're going to need 1 piece that is 5 1/2 by 7 3/4, and that's going to go over this piece. Okay, and then after we do that, then we're going to go ahead and get our after we go ahead and lay these down, you're going to go ahead and get your bone folder, and you're going to go ahead and, you know, make your little seams in it, and then that will help your seams in your book from falling apart. Okay, So now I'm going to go ahead and put tape on the back of all of my pieces. All right. And you just want to do them just like you did your chipboard, and then I'll be back. Okay guys, so I went ahead and put everything, all the tape back on the back of all my items here. So I'm going to remove, we're going to put the paper ones up here, and I'm going to go ahead and take off the tape from the back of the Tyvek. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and place this like right in between the middle of that seam. Okay, just like that. Okay, and if you noticed, I went ahead and made our paper about 1/4 of an inch larger than the Tyvek, and that's just so that way we can get coverage, good coverage over the Tyvek, so it doesn't show. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and take all of this off, and I'm going to put the middle one on, and then I'm going to do the paper on top of it, just so you guys know how to, you know, how it looks, and then I will go ahead and finish up the rest. And I'm just making sure that I have it on both sides here. Okay. Okay, just like that. Okay. So then after you're done with this part, then what you're going to do is you're going to grab your paper, okay, and you're going to go ahead and place the paper on top of the Tyvek, leaving about 1/4 of an inch, I think it is, from the top and the bottom of your book. Okay, so this is going to go right over this, and we're just going to go ahead and press that down, and I'm going to make sure I'm a little bit even on both sides here. Okay, I'm not even. Let's see here, there we go. That might be, yeah, okay. So, and then you're just going to put that right on top of that. Okay, once you're done putting your paper on top of your Tyvek, okay, you're going to go ahead and burnish that in really, really good. Okay, just like that. And then you're going to get your bone folder, and you're just going to go ahead and crease that. Okay, now remember, your crease is a little larger than what we're used to. So, because usually we do like an 1/8 of an inch. Okay, this one is just a little bit more. All right, and that's okay. So you just want to make sure you get a good crease in there. All right, so when you're creasing it, you can lift your book up. Okay, just like that. Okay, so there you go. So just like that. And so then your sides will fold in like this. This piece right here will fold over this piece, which is the bottom piece. Okay, and so you can definitely, whatever, you know, choose which side you want. Don't worry too much about your seam, because we are going to cover that. Okay, so don't worry too much about that. And so this is how your book is going to open. Okay, the one thing that you will need is a latch. Okay, and I have a latch that I bought a few years back. It's just a little, this just pokes through some holes, and it opens up like this, okay? So I will be using this latch, but you can definitely use whatever you'd like. If you want to use ribbon, or if you want to use seam binding or a lace, you can do that, okay? So it's going to open up like this, okay? And then this right here, of course, is going to be our where our spine goes, or I mean our hinge, okay? So this is going to be the hinge part, but I'm going to go ahead and finish putting on my little strips here, my Tyvek and my papers that go over it, okay? Just like this. And then I will be right back. Hey guys, I'm back. So now we're going to go ahead and do our hinge, and we are going to go ahead, and I already have mine scored, but I'm going to go over this, go ahead and post the measurements on to the screen, and then I'm also going to go ahead and put them in the cut file, and I'm going to go ahead and do this with you. So first you'll want to go ahead, we're going to have 5 pages in our book, okay? So for this you're going to go ahead and score first, or you're going to cut your paper out at 7 3/4 by 12, okay? 7 3/4 by 12. And our first score line is going to go ahead and be at 1 1/2, okay, and then at 2 1/8. Then you're going to go ahead and score at 2 5/8. Then you're going to score at 3 1/8. Then you're going to go ahead and score at 3 3/4. You're going to go ahead and score at, and I'm going to move this over to the side, 3 3/4. Then you're going to score at 4 1/4. Okay. Then you're going to score at 4 3/4, 5 3/8, 5 7/8, 6 3/8, 6, or I'm sorry, 7 at 7. Then you're going to score at 7 1/2, at 8, at 8 5/8, at 9 1/8, so 9 1/8, then at 9 5/8, and then at 10 1/4, okay? And so that will be our 5 pages, okay? So once you get done, you can go ahead and remove your scoreboard, okay? And what I do is I go ahead and I mark where my pages are going to be. So like for instance, here's our first score area right here, right? This is like in between the 2 lines. I will go ahead and mark a 1 on the next line, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in just a bit here so you guys can see it. Okay, so I count over 3 lines from the first score line, 1 2 3, mark a 1. Okay, that's going to be our page 1, and then go ahead and count over 3, 1 2 3, whoops, whoop, no, 1 2 3. That's going to be our second page, and then go to the next line, 1 2 3. That's going to be our third page, 1 2 3, our fourth page, 1 2 3, and that's our 5th page. Okay, so where those pages where we marked, okay, and I'm going to come in just a bit more, there we go, where we marked on those score lines, okay, on each score line, that is going to be your mountain, okay? And what I mean by mountain, if you're new to making mini albums, you're going to fold those up, okay, or at a peak, so it's going to look like this, okay? So you're going to grab each one and bring that up, okay, just like that. So each area where we put our number at, you are going to go ahead and bring that to a peak, okay? So now you have those folded. The next thing you're going to do is on this first score line, you're going to fold backwards. Okay? And then you're going to go ahead and fold backwards. Okay? So you're going to fold backwards twice. Okay? And then you're going to go ahead and when you have that, then your peak will come up like this. Alright. So you will have something like that. Oops, I think I was out of focus or out of the camera. So that's what you should have, okay? So now you can go ahead and just do it like accordion. So here you're gonna, or like you're doing a fan. So here we're gonna go this way like that, and then you're gonna go ahead and just fold that back. Oops. I'm sorry. I'm all thumbs today. Alright, so we're gonna fold that back. Let's start from here. And then there's this. And then we've got this. Okay. We've got that. And then you're just going to go ahead and fold just like you would a fan. Okay. That is going to be upward. And then you're going to bring that, when you hit this part right here where your peak is or where your page is at, go ahead and fold, bring it together at your peak, fold it this way, okay? So you're going to bring that little flap over, okay? And then here you're going to fold, when you have your peak, your next peak, you're going to go ahead and bring that in, fold it up, and lay it over, okay? And that's how you're going to do, and then you're going to fold it over the other way, okay? And that's how you're going to make your hinge, okay? That's how I do it. It's just easier. Bring your page 4 peak up, find your score line, okay? Find your score line right there. Bring that in. There we go. So here is your page 4. Here's your score line. You're going to go ahead and just flip that over. Burnish that down. Okay. Flip it over the other way on your other score line. And that's going to make your scores. Okay. That's going to help you score your pages. Okay, so now you should have something that looks like this if you squeeze it all together. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and flip this over, and now you have these little peaks and valleys and stuff. So in between each of your valleys, you are going to go ahead and put tape. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and grab your score tape, and I'm going to use my 3/8 inch tape, okay, and I'm just going to set it right on in between the score line where my valley is, okay, and I'm going to go ahead and do 2 of them at a time. You can do them all at once if you want to, but to show you real quick how this is done, okay, go ahead and burnish those in, okay, and then go ahead and cut out any excess tape that is hanging over the edges. Alright, you want to go ahead and remove the tape, and where you had made your page number 1, you want to stick those together to make your mountain or peak. Okay, so there is your first hinge, just like that. Okay, so same thing with the next hinge. Okay, this is our hinge number 2. Okay, bring it together so it looks like this. Okay, And that's going to be what your back looks like. It's going to look like that, okay? It's going to be all together. So when you turn it over, these are going to be where we put our pages into, okay? And that is how that's going to look. All right. And so you're going to do that for all the other ones too. You're going to grab your tape, put it in between your hinge, your little peak there. All right. Burnish that down. And this, make sure that it's number 3. Okay. Bring that in, just like that. Okay. And I'm trying to make sure that just bring it in just like that. All right, so now you have that. And you can definitely, once you get all of your tape onto your hinges, make sure you go back over and burnish everything in really well. And go back and forth. So flip your hinges to one side and then burnish in. Flip them to the other side and then burnish them in. Plus, this helps your hinges not be so stiff, and your pages will, you know, be able to fold over a little bit better without being so stiff. Okay, so you just want to make sure that all of that is really nicely burnished in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish the other 2 hinges, and then I will be right back. Okay guys, so once you're done putting together your hinge, okay, on the back you're going to go ahead and lay your tape. And so I'm just going to grab my 1/2 inch tape here, okay, and you're just going to go ahead and put your tape down here just on this part and then on the other side. Okay, and with this I go ahead and lay the tape right next to each other. So you can grab you know, any tape you want, your adhesive, okay, and just do that. Okay, make sure that you burnish that in really well, okay, and do the same thing on this side. All right. And I am barely on the edge of that crease there. So, crease that. Okay, just like that. So you are going to bring these in, okay? Once you bring these in, okay, and you lay them flat, you're going to go ahead and lay tape on this. And I also add art glitter glue or a glue to the back of my hinge, okay? So I use 2 types of adhesive on that part, okay? Now you don't have to. I just do it because I feel like I get a stronger hold, and I also do it because sometimes where I live it's very humid, so so I don't want this to pop off, okay? So that's why I use the glue and the score tape together, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and sometimes I do this. I do different things with my I'm going to go ahead and just add some glue right on here, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and that, And I'm just going to go ahead and lay some glue on here, just like this, on top of here. So this is sometimes what I do for my hinges, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and lay that down, just like that. All right, and then same thing on here. So I'm just going to take these off. Lay some glue down right on top of my tape here. Just like that. Fold this over. Okay. Just like that. Alrighty. So there is that part. So now what you're going to do is after you get this done, now we're going to go ahead and lay some tape across here. So I'm just going to grab my tape and I'll lay it here. And here. Okay, and then I'm just going to go right across, all the way across. Okay, so now once we have our tape on our hinge, okay, we can go ahead and we can apply this on here, just like that, okay? And so it should fit nice and easy peasy. So once we're done getting this on here, okay, and use this piece here as your guide, okay? So definitely use that as your guide. Go ahead and take my tape off. Okay, and it is really burnished in there, you guys. It's really burnished in there. Also, before you lay this down, and I forgot to tell you, make sure you don't have any stragglies on the ends of your hinge, okay? Because you don't want them to show up on in the middle of your, once you put that down, okay? They're really hard to get off. So I always forget to do that, and so I remembered this time. So definitely make sure get that you would think having my long nails would help a little bit in getting this off, but for some reason they are not working today. So, okay, so now I'm just going to lay this right in the middle of this, okay? And, oh, I wanted to add the glue, forgot. So I'm just going to add my glue around my edges here. Okay. Now you don't want to cake your glue on, okay? You want to make sure that it's not like, you know, a bunch of glue on there, but you do want to add a little bit. Okay, just like that. I like to make sure that I get my edges really good. Okay, so please make sure that you get your edges and your corners really good when you add your glue. Okay, and then I just smear it around with my finger, and that's usually why I keep like a little napkin or wipey or something around so I can wipe my fingers. Alrighty, and I'm just gonna lay this right on top of that and make sure I'm even. Okay, and I'm just gonna go ahead and lift this up and make sure I'm good. And I am, so yay. So, okay. So I'm just gonna lay this down here, just like this. Okay. And I'm just, again, sweeping over or turning over my hinges and burnishing this down. Okay, you want to make sure that this is going to not move. Okay, it's secured. All right, you want to make sure that it's on there good. And mine is on there good, you guys. It's not even moving a smidge. Not even a smidge. Okay. So I'm just, again, turning over my hinges and burnishing them down again. All right. And then go over the edge of your hinge. Okay. Make sure that you get that in there really good. All right. Okay, so that should be good, you guys. Telling you, I think it's really on there good. Okay. So don't think that that's ever going to come up. So, so I got that in there pretty good. And then, you know, you could always fold them apart and go down in between your hinge. If you feel that you need to do it, you know, burnish it in a little bit more, go ahead and do that. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm just all right. Okay, so now that we have this done, we are ready to go ahead and not only cover the outside but cover the inside of our book as well. So, but I want to also go over our pages. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and make your pages, and I can make my pages while we're okay. So for your pages, you are going to need 5 that are 10 1/4. I don't know if you guys can see that. 5 pieces that are 10 1/4 by 7 7/8. Okay, that is what you're going to need. All right, there's going to be one piece. The next piece that you're going to need is the back piece of your page, and that's going to be at 10 3/4 by 8 3/8, and you're going to need 5 of those. Okay, then when you get your 10 3/4 by 8 3/8 inch page cut, okay, you're going to score a 1/2 inch on the bottom part of your page. Okay, you're going to score a 1/2 inch down here and a 1/2 inch on the left hand side, or yeah, on the left hand side. Okay, I put right, but it's the left. The left hand side. Okay, once you do that, then you will end up, you're going to fold them up, and you will end up with the same size as the first page that you cut, which is 10 1/4 by 7 7/8. Okay, so it should match. Both of these should match, because when you fold in your 1/2 inch, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to lay that 10 1/4 by 7 7/8 inch page on top of the one that you scored, and you should end up with a page like this. Okay, and I will do one with you. Okay, so so let's go ahead and get one done. So again, you're going to need 5 of those. So as I stated earlier, we are using 2 packs of the Heartfelt Creations 12 by 12 packs of paper. You are going to need probably an extra one, and I will put that in the cut guide. And so you will probably need, I would go ahead and just get 3 of those packs. They're pretty inexpensive, and they are so worth it. You guys will love it. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut down. And I had some cut already earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and use my little cutter here. Okay, so this is going to be at 10 1/4. So 10 1/4, okay, by 7 7/8. Right. Okay, so that is one. And again, this is the 10 1/4 by 7 7/8. Okay. So there's that one. The next one we're cutting is going to be at 10 3/4. All right. So 10 3/4. So I'm going to bring that over just a tad. 10 3/4 by 8 3/8. So 8 3/8. All right. You're going to need your scoreboard. So here, this is where you're going to score. Oops. This is where you're going to score a 1/2 inch on this side, on your left-hand side. Okay. You're going to turn it on the 8 3/8 inch side. Whoops. I'm out of the camera. Hold on, you guys. Sorry. I didn't realize it. So you're going to turn it on. So for your first score, you're going to turn it on the 10 3/4 inch side, okay? And you're going to score a 1/2 inch down this side, okay? You're going to turn it to the 8 3/8 inch side on your scoreboard. You're going to score a 1/2 inch all the way down, okay? You're going to get your scissors, and you're going to cut right where that X is. See where that X is? That's where you're going to cut, right there. Okay? And then you're going to fold these in, okay? Like that. And go ahead and burnish that in. All right. Just like this. Now remember, you're going to need 5 of these pages. Okay, so this will now fit on top of this, and that is going to be your page. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my 3/8 inch tape, and you don't have to. I've used my art glitter glue before, you know, for my pages. So I'm just going to go ahead and rip that off there. And I'm going to go ahead and burnish that in while I've got it on there. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clip like that. Bring this over here. Okay, just like that. Burnish that in just like that. Okay, and I can move my scoreboard out of the way. I can go ahead and take this off. Okay, and again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here, not a lot. Okay, make sure you get up here and down in your corner area. Okay, just like that. And then I go ahead and I start from this side here and then the corner. Okay, just make sure that it's even. And if I have to slide it over just a bit, I can. Oops. That. And then just bring that up just like that. And then go ahead and place that down just like that. And there's your page. So you've got one page done. So that's exactly how you're going to do your pages, okay? Now, your pages are going to fit inside of your hinge. You don't want to put them in yet though, okay? I don't want you to put your pages in your hinge yet because we still got to decorate them. Again, they're going to fit in here just like this, okay? They're going to go in your hinge. When you put your pages in, okay, and I will repeat this part. When you put your pages in your hinge, okay, for the way that I do it, okay, so I don't go all the way down to the bottom of your hinge, because if you put your page all the way down at the bottom of your hinge, your pages are not going to turn right, okay? They're going to be sticking up, and they're not going to lay flat, all right? So how I do it is I grab my 3/8 inch tape, okay, and I'm going to go ahead and clip that off. On your hinge, put your tape close to the fold of your hinge right here, okay? So the top of your hinge. So when you put your tape on the top of your hinge, make sure it's close to the fold, all right? This is one way that you will be sure to not have your page to the end of your hinge, okay? And it really, really helps me, okay? And that is just what I do. So my page will now be at the end of this end of my adhesive, okay? When I take my adhesive off, I still have about a 1/16 of an inch from my page reaching the edge of my score line here, okay? The bottom of your, okay, of your hinge. All right, so I'm going to put this in here, okay? So your page will now sit like this, okay? And it's not going to reach the end of that hinge, all right? And it will fold back and forth easier, okay? You can also use your quarter inch tape, okay, for that. The problem with the 1/4 inch tape is that, and I've used it before, and there's no problem as long as you kind of use glue a little bit, but I really recommend, if you're going to do, you know, for beginners, if you don't know where to end your page, is, you know, for beginners, if you don't want to make the mistake of placing your page at the end of your, all the way to the end of your hinge, okay, use the 3/8 inch tape. I just think you get more of a hold with the 3/8 inch tape with your pages. Okay, so again, you'll go ahead and grab your tape, place it on the fold of your hinge. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in just a bit for you guys. Okay, so okay, and that way, and I don't know if you guys can see, let me close my shade there. Maybe if I close my shade you guys can see a little bit better. You want to place that tape right there. Okay, and then just follow it down. Okay, just like that. Okay, all right, just like that. Okay, and then you now have your guideline to where your page, where the end of your page is going to go. Okay, so again, there is still that 1/16 of an inch right there that you have from your page meeting the end of your hinge. Okay, so that is how I do mine. Okay, now there's people probably have lots of different ways to not, you know, have a guide or whatever they do to not have their page meet the end. So but that's just what I do, and I hope that helps. I hope it's a neat little tip for you guys who are new, if you're making mini albums starting out, to not have your pages go to the end of your hinge. Okay, so now that we covered our pages and our hinge and how to mark where, have a guideline for your page not to hit the edge of your hinge, let's go ahead and cover our book. So to cover our book, okay, so I went ahead and got out my pages, you guys, and I'm gonna zoom out. All right, and I went ahead and picked out my papers. Okay, and one thing that I always tell you guys to do is when you get your papers, please take out the papers that you're going to cover your books with first. Okay, and take out what you want to cover the inside of your book with. Okay, because sometimes what happens, if we get busy making our pages and decorating our pages, and then we forget, oh no, I don't have enough paper to do the covering of my book. Or I don't have enough paper to cover the inside of my book. So to do that, you are going to need a couple of pieces cut out for the top, covering the top of your cover. Okay, and so I went ahead and cut mine out, and the first piece you're going to need is 2.5 by 7 7/8. Okay, that piece is going to go on this right here. Okay, then you're going to need one piece that is 3 7/8 by 7 7/8. Okay, and then you're going to need another piece that is 3 3/4 by 7 7/8. Okay, the 3 3/4 piece will go on this flap here. Okay, so that will go right there, and then the 3 7/8 by 7 7/8 piece is going to go here. Okay, and then you're going to need both your front and back piece, which you'll need 2 of them at 10.5 by 7 7/8, and they'll just go right here, just like that. Okay, actually this piece will go here. Okay, and then this piece will go on the back. So that is for the outside of your album cover. Okay, for the inside of your album cover, you're going to need one piece that is 3 1/4 by 7 7/8. Okay, that is going to go right there. And then the other piece that you have is going to be 2 5/8 by 7 7/8. And that piece is going to go here. Okay, and then again you'll need 2 pieces that are going to be 10.5 by 7 7/8. Okay, now this piece I cut to go here. Okay, and then this piece here is going to go on the back of the book right here. Okay, so that is going to be so cute, you guys. Oh my gosh. And then of course our pages are going to go here. And then what we might do here is we might go ahead and take our X-Acto knife, and we might go ahead and do a pocket there. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. I might go ahead and just do a flip page for the front. So I thought that might be cute, something different that I haven't really done yet. And so there you go. So that is what we're going to do here. Okay, so you can go ahead and get started cutting those, and then I am going to go ahead and move on to the next piece. So for our pockets, okay, I am going to do some flips and flaps on these. However, I do want to go ahead and get our inserts cut. So for your inserts, you're going to go ahead and cut your inserts are going to be at 9 by 8. Okay, so we're going to make them 9 by 8, and that should be a pretty good size for our inserts, and that will give you the front and back of your insert to you know, put lots of different photos on and things like that. And so I thought that would be like super cute, you guys. So so I'm going to go ahead and cut that out real quick. So 9 by 8. So you will need, again, you'll need 5 of those inserts. So, you know, we already used, you know, a few pages from, we used all of one pack for our pages. So you will need definitely 3 packs of the white cardstock when you do this, of 12 by 12, okay? Again, so I just want to go ahead and let you all know you'll need 3 packs of that paper. So when I write my supply list down, please go ahead and grab 3 packs of those papers. Okay. Alrighty. So here we go. So there's that. And by 8. Alrighty. And so there we go. So this should fit perfect in our book and our page. So it will fit just like this. So there we go. So again, you'll just need 5 of these that are 9 by 8. Okay, and these are your inserts to the top of your page. Okay, so you'll need 5 of those. So I think that's about it right now, and I'm going to go ahead and put my decorative paper on the outside and on the inside of my cover, and then I will be right back.